Hello, everybody. Time for more Timespinner. I'm Ryushikaze, he's blasting us, and that's a side quest that we're not supposed to get yet. I don't know why that one of all of them doesn't let us pick it up beforehand, but it doesn't.
So now that we're zooming around like an idiot, what can we accomplish with that?
There's actually a lot of areas that we can go back to that, we can clear gaps. For example, in the ruins in the past, there's that big gap that we could clear. But for now, let's just keep going in this dungeon. But yeah, Experiment 13 was a Lockheed nobleman who had fallen out of favor with the Emperor and was gifted to be an experiment.
Well, that certainly is pleasant.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Ooh, those are some nice differences in stats.
Yeah,
If you do a magic focus build, that could actually turn out pretty good.
it definitely could, and I think I do switch to it in a bit.
I feel like this game has a little bit of difficulty with some of the things in actually communicating that you're doing anything with them. Like that spinning blades thing, if you didn't see the numbers coming out, you wouldn't be able to tell that you were actually, doing anything with it.
Yeah. The enemies do not have much in the way of flinch animations. Hey, actual boss door.
I'm still kind of annoyed about the fact that that one was just a fake out.
Experiment 13 was such... yeah. This fight kind of makes up for it. Genza here is in the Great Hojo vein of being a crazy scientist who just has no ethics.
Because, scientists in video games always have to be crazy morons or oddly in RPGs there seems to be a trend of scientists being underage, really arrogant people, for some reason. It seems to be a cliche that pops up a lot.
Yeah. I think that might have to do with something of Japanese culture, but also note that the dude transformed himself into our mom. He's experimented on himself, and he is now a shapeshifter. He's also a complete douche.
Yeah, he just dropped a giant thing of teeth on you.
Yeah. He's also got some spikes, the maw of teeth that he throws out behind us. But he spends so much time laughing that...
I kind of feel like these attacks are really avoidable.
They are. He's one of the most pattern-heavy in the game. But as he gets closer to death, he does try and change him up a little.
I feel like there's some potential in this game that really wasn't realized. The whole stopping time thing. It would have made fights really interesting if there were over the top bullet patterns or things that you had to stop time in order to avoid or things like that.
Yeah, and I could see definitely why they're doing that. Why they're how that would be awesome. But they're also, I know, there's in-game achievements of defeating enemies without using time stop and taking damage. So I think that's why they didn't want to go too overboard with it, but I can see absolutely why having time-based, dodges for ridiculous Toho-style attacks would have been really cool.
Yeah, it just feels like wasted potential. So it's like the Emperor put his tower right on top of the evil science lab.
Yep.
This Empire is weird.
Yeah. Maybe he just wanted it really close to hand. In case he wanted to pop down for a bit of evil science and war crimes.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. I mean, I get peckish for war crimes every so often. That's why we occasionally do Donkey Kong LPs. These Hellgazers are some of the more irritating, like, not difficult, just irritating, like, standard enemies in the game. Specifically the ones on the ceiling, because they will crawl all the way to the edge and then just stay there.
Well, I mean, you have that one attack where it sends fire up and down. It seems like it would have been really helpful there.
Yeah, it's just the... I wasn't thinking about it at the time, and it's still, you have to be in the exact right position to be able to hit them. Because the difference between where you can jump to and where they rest is about half the height of Lunai.
Wait, did Nuvius ever get named during the cutscene where like you initially met him?
Yes.
Just checking.
I believe your mother shouts out Nuvius.
Because I was just thinking, like, if you didn't have that lore dump beforehand, you probably would have had no idea who the heck Nuvius was.
Yeah.
It's not like he's really made a big impact on the plot. Like,
Yeah.
I figure like a whole bunch of armored folks showing up, that would have made for a nice group of, like, bosses or whatever that you'd have to face over the course of the game, but nope. Maybe I'm thinking of this game like too much in terms of JRPGs.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you'd be thinking of it in that, but it's definitely trying a bit more in the Metroidvania vein of focusing on the platforming, with, like, not to say that there's no story, but the story is definitely the secondary focus. But yeah, no, so at this point, it's literally I'm going around thinking of, okay, where have I seen an A key card? And so I'm checking out the areas, because we just picked one up from the scientist.
Genza, I think his name was?
Yeah. My thought for doing this was essentially, well, we just got the A key card, we'll probably need something that we got in there in the next area.
Well, there was an A key card at one end of the lab.
Yes. That I'm going to realize in about, I think, 2 episodes times, when I have looked all throughout the rest of the tower for the third piece of the Timespinner. And then I kick myself.
I suppose for an indie project this is okay, but you know, I'm seeing a whole lot of stuff that feels like they could have gone bigger with it, you know?
Yeah, no, I would have loved to see, like something a bit more substantial, far-reaching, maybe like a bigger map or a third map of the same size as the 2 Lekiemi. Maybe some exploration on the Let.
I guess, like, a point of comparison for a Metroidvania would be Hollow Knight. Like, that game has boatloads of content.
Oh, yeah. Hollow Knight is or Ori in the Blind Forest.
Isn't it just Ori?
I think the full title is And the Blind Forest, but
yeah, Ori.
I think
Ori,
it's just
Ori in the Blind
Ori.
Forest. I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
Is it Ori or Ori?
I think it's Ori. My mind, when I see a trailing eye like that, it doesn't quite know what to do.
This is actually quite the long diversion. you think there's going to be something good down here?
Actually, there is. In fact, there's a very nifty boss fight, which I think incorrectly is where to use the shiny stone, but you'll see why later.
I like how all the future versions of monsters have a little bit extra that they can throw out at you.
Oh yeah.
So the past mushrooms, they just fall apart, but in the future mushrooms they leave these little spore things.
Yeah, the fetid wyverns can poison you on contact in addition to their regular attacks. Trying to think what else the future can do. My immediate thought was, well, that's probably side quest.
And it isn't?
It is. It's just at the tail end of a bunch of side quests.
I mean, the side quest book, it only showed 5 slots, so I figure, yeah, unless a new NPC shows up out of the ether at the last minute, I think we found our entire gang of folks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also a quest item, or... Oh, okay.
Nope. You're going to see very, very quickly that I stop walking for 90% of the videos now that I've got
Yeah, this thing.
the dash.
I mean, why walk?
Exactly.
Walking is for people who don't have time powers.
And telekinesis. Time kinesis. Yeah, no, one of the very nice things about New Game Plus is that while it does take away most of your movement options, it does leave you the telekinetic dash. So that you can just rush through things.
I do find it funny that you get the power of telekinesis and all you do is use it to run faster.
Technically, we've always had telekinesis. It's what we use to move our orbs around. It's just that the band is what lets us use it to create a cushion on which we can zip around on.
And yet you can't use it to grab a falling object that's going off screen.
Yeah. That would make sense. Come on. You can't have sense in a video game. Yeah, they've just completely bricked up all the paths down to here. So, hi! This is a horrible, horrible crow monster.
And it is. I get the feeling like you're never actually going to eat any of this food.
I start eating some of it later, but yeah, no, a lot of it is... just... I either go for the big stuff, or just, sell a lot of the small stuff. But yeah, this fight actually gets me enough to start using a bunch of this healing stuff.
It feels like it doesn't really give any sort of warning about like where it's going to strike.
It does not, but what it does do is that it targets where you were when it starts screaming, and then it always attacks in that, basically a cone in that direction.
I mean,
It's got...
then again,
It's not the best, signposting on a boss, but it is technically a form of signposting.
I mean, technically this is what I was talking about earlier about, like, bosses where you could use your time powers in order to avoid over-the-top attacks.
Yeah.
It just seems a waste that in a game about time travel, like, you only get the one thing.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have, like, a rewind or like a fast-forward yourself button as well.
Or maybe you can create a copy of yourself from just, like, one instant in the past or whatever, so you can, like, be firing twice as fast.
That would be nifty. Like, clone yourself. Do like a shadow clone technique.
Yeah, but it's time clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody cares about you.
Like, we got enough, like, weird concepts without throwing dreams in here as well. What does it even mean, like, to be a dream dragon? That doesn't make it any different from a regular dragon.
I think it's because it's got the feathery wings and has the ability to speak to people through dreams.
Maybe.
I think it's supposed to be dream as in, like, that is the element over which it has control, sort of like a fire or a frost dragon.
I guess that makes as much sense as anything.
Yeah. Yes, now that we've got the dash, we can run to the other side of the big gap in the past here, which pretty much finishes out the rest of this video. Then I think it's back to the plot, though we might have some more side quest diversion. Though I think I leave that after most of my running around in the Emperor's Tower.
I guess it's good to know what's coming up, but, you know, I don't actually mind the side plot stuff.
Yeah, no, I just am trying to think of the order that I did things in.
I mean, it might be a bit mean-spirited to say, but I kind of like these stories with the band of schmucks that we've gotten ourselves involved with more than our main character's story.
Yeah, no, the love was definitely, I think, more on the band of schmucks than Lunai and the Lakiemi. Her conflict seems to be more like a backdrop for doing right by them than anything else.
Which,
Like-
you know, like if they wanted to, make that kind of story, then it's the story that they made, and it turned out pretty well, I'd say.
It did.